In the previous lesson, we saw how we can work with other tools here in Substance Painter. We saw how to work with the clone tool to get rid of the seams in the textures, but also how to use it to clone a particular graphic and many times on the surface. And also how we can apply some of the filters and effects to the layers here. So we continue to experiment with the layers. And also we can adjust the layer using adjustment effects that again are similar to raster graphics like Photoshop or GIMP or Pixar. We made a lot of examples in the previous video. And we worked using this model right here and using also lighter where we change the effect without actually exiting substance, but everything thanks to the adjustment layers like roughness, or to the base color or to the other channels that we used. And we also saw that we can apply more channels to our material, and we're gonna also do another example in this video. And then we moved forward, but you see that we're always working with apparel design or character design or product design, because this is where you can do essentially using substance. I'm gonna change the model for this video, and I want to use like some cyberpunk apparel or character because they usually have some emissive things on their body or on their clothes. Now, this is another really interesting shoe made with all sorts of effects, but most of these are fake effects done with the normals. So, and probably these were made using Substance or some similar software. So we can work with low poly models, especially if you want to work with the games or video games and things like that. We shouldn't increase the level of polygons too much. Now I've chosen this one here because it has, like some clothing that is emissive, contains emissive parts, and then I have a body I can put on like tattoos and other effects in 2D or 3D. And by the way, these are um, the authors down here, and we'll find all the information. I've downloaded this in FBX format with all the texture, and you see PBR metalness, so we see that we're gonna work with that. But you also have others. So this is another example of some cyberpunk jacket with some emissive effects, and there you go. You see there the Substance logo, and applied also with an emissive effect. So this is what we're gonna do in this video. So I'm gonna go to File and import the new model. I'm just gonna go to New first, and then Templates. I'm just gonna leave this select template. So I don't want to specify a template here. So I will be more free to choose later. And then I'm going to go, also I can choose the document resolution, which could be bigger. So I have more details in the texture, and then I'll open it up and choose the cyberpunk girl right here and open it. Discard this one. And there you go. So right now the FBX doesn't have any texture applied. You have different paths of the model. So you have like the hair and then the shoes and the eyes. So let's start with the shoes. Let's go down there and let's zoom in a little bit. So let's start to paint. You can see everything is looking pretty fine. And here you have the maps. So we can, as we know, we can work in 2D or in 3D using the paint or using the logos and other stuff. Now, what I want to do is just start by, well, first of all, you can see here now all the texture are 2048 times 2048. Now you can change that anytime. When you select one texture, which is basically one model, you can go here to the texture settings. You can change here, and you can make this back to 1024. So this is a kind of a rather well, it's a smaller object than the rest of the character. So it depends on what you need to do with this. If you need to use it in a low poly project or high poly, you can change also the resolution of the texture, which can result in too heavy models, or they can also see a little bit pixelated. You don't want that, so you need to find the correct size. And again, you can do this in texture set settings. And if you go down there, these are the only channels we have right now. So if I want to apply also the emissive, I need to click on the plus sign here and add it right here. So you can also apply other maps that you perhaps find in the model that you import. So for example, specular or sheen or scattering or opacity or codes. Now these can be used or can be not, depending on your model. Now let's import the textures as we already know how to do. So I'm gonna click there on the plus, go here in the texture folder and get all the textures for all the models and select all of those, make sure they are texture and then import. And now let's get the shoes. So there you go. So we have shoes color, shoes emission. You can see we have a channel specifically for the emission. So if I wanna, let's make this black, and you can, paint everything out black if you want. We're gonna override it anyway with the texture, but just to show you the emission. So what I'm gonna do is find a new channel. If it's not open, you need to click here to open it. And there you go. So I can use a standard emissive channel like this and paint it, or I can use also some stencil effect by changing here the, well, not stencil, but alpha, and you can use also the stencil if you want. Now, we have already a texture for this, so we don't need to do this. We just need to go back to the layers, and we just need to apply a new fill layer, as we already know. And we're just going to drop that to the emissive. So you can see now, let's change the base color into fill it with the black, so we can see now this is an emissive material. Now, it's really difficult to see an emissive material while you're in this type of rendering. Usually it's better to see it, it's better if we go in the E-ray render. So we can see they kind of project light into the scene. Now these are really smaller, and this is, some applied graphics. They're really smaller, so they're not really participate too much to the scene, but you will definitely be able to see that those will be not like standard base color, but will be actual emissive parts. And then I'm gonna continue, as we already know, to apply the other textures. And you see now that we have some extra effects. Now, if we want, we can use this paint layer right here, and let's bring down the size. And also let's see some more shortcut keys we can use with the control. So if I hold the control key and scroll the scroll wheel, I can make the brush smaller or bigger. So for example, if I need to do some seams here on these shoes, well, you know that, oh, I need to create a paint layer. Okay, so we know we can use the spacing. So I'm going to increase the spacing. I'm going to increase the, I'm going to do the follow path also. There you go. And I'm going to increase a little bit the size and the lazy mouse effect from here. Okay, and then you can see I can be more, precise. And if you want the actual seams effect like this, you may want to use like a really simple rectangle alpha. Okay, just we need to rotate it with the angle like this. And probably you want to add some normal map, or just using the height. I can push this, to be carved inside, or it could be extruded outside. So that's the way we can add all these little littles, and then you can add screws and bolts and all that stuff that you can find in the normals section. We can just pick another alpha and use the height again. So be careful with the lazy mouse, because you need to drag, you need to be outside the lazy mouse in order for them to start to appear. So you can see how many things we can do here. And that's the texture settings. Let's decrease this to 128. You can see the difference. So be careful to choose the right